Welcome back to talknorth.com. Thank you for listening. If you can, please download before you listen. It helps our business. I'd also like to thank our producer, Brandon Morton, and let you know if you'd like to sponsor this program or any of the programs on the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Welcome back to the Cheryl Reeve Show. So much to get to today. We're going to talk about your upcoming travels, your upcoming trip to the State Fair, which is a rarity for you, and all kinds of WNBA news and other sports news. It's funny. It's the first week of the off season, it feels like, and yet we're loaded. We have so many good topics to get to and so much good basketball to get to. Thank you to the Free House, our primary sponsor on the Cheryl Reeve Show. Thank you to successfulmarketinggroup.com. That is Lori Ramsey's company that we'll be telling you more about. And thank you to Shelley Bean, the Sports Queen, sports books. We will be telling you more about Shelley Boyan Breen's cool children's series and her protagonist. Also, always remember that if you are interested in her books, you can type in links Coach Reeve, and you'll get 25% off of your purchases when you enter that code. Also, thank you to Links Dynasty Podcast, and we'll be telling you more about that as well. If you'd like to sponsor the program, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. Again, download if you get a chance to before you listen. It's a better listening experience. Thanks to Brandon Morton, our producer. And you can find all the shows by subscribing at iTunes, going to your favorite podcast app. All right, so tell me about your upcoming schedule.
Well, this is my quiet week. It was a week I had planned to be busy, but we're not at this point with the players departing town. And September 2nd, we leave for our USA basketball venture that will take us stateside for a couple of weeks, maybe 10 days, and then we get a chance to go to the French Riviera, go to Nice and play in some games, and we'll finish over in Tenerife, Spain, which is one of the Canary Islands, which I hear is beautiful.
Wow,
yeah,
that sounds really good. Is it going to be intense? Is it going to be kind of fun? What's your expectation?
It's new in that Dawn Staley is taking over, so I think there'll be. Anytime you're doing something for the first time together, they'll be working out those, kind of the kinks of who's doing what and, what Dawn wants it to look like. And then I think we're also going to be challenged with the players that will be there. There'll be many that are going to be dealing with injuries and things like that might not have a chance to participate. So when you start the season, you have your pool and you have your the players that you think, and then I think that has slowly changed along the way as players have, decided against participating. And then you're also waiting for the number of players that are still competing in playoffs. So as we, embark on that trip and we kind of get it going September 2nd, obviously playoffs are still happening, and there's, at least a handful of players that will be key players in that World Cup competition. So a lot of moving parts. It'll be challenging, I think, for Dawn to bring it all together. But that's just kind of what it's about. That's what Dawn signed up for, and I'm looking forward to get starting with her.
We spoke frequently when you were in Rio, and that looked like it was fun. But I also know from being there that it wasn't always easy. So I'm wondering, is this more of a joy or an obligation when you do these kinds of trips?
Well, the Olympics, I had spent time obviously around Gino and we did the World Cup together and had a lot of conversations. And the one thing he always said was the World Cup is one thing, but the Olympics are a completely different level in terms of stress. And I didn't quite understand it because my experience was you just win by 40 and you get your gold medal and you move on. But he was so right. There is just something, the Olympic experience was one that I have such envy for the athletes that get to participate. It is so athlete-centric. And to be there, you feel like all the years you watch on TV and you watch these athletes, they're just doing what they're great at, what they're trained to do. But when you're there, you get a better chance, a better sense of their journey, how hard it is. In many cases, you're training for years and you only get, this 2-minute period. If you're a track athlete or sprinter, it's seconds, that it's the pressure to perform in the moment is unbelievable, and it's palpable. Like when you're there, and so. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not an obligation. I can't speak on the player side. This is certainly on my side. I haven't been involved. I've been involved since 2014, but some of these players have been doing it since they were, young athletes. And I suspect for them the grind of being a professional and your European season and your, the WNBA season, then this USA basketball piece. It's a lot. It's a lot to balance. And so I know that when they get there. They understand what they're doing in representing their country, and I think the way that USA Basketball does it is something that's a joy to be a part of.
Do you think female athletes are more appreciated overseas or in America?
That's a tough one. I don't know if I'm overseas enough to fully answer that. I can tell you what the players say, and it's different. I think we have it better here. In America, in terms of women in general, while we feel like we have a ways to go in so many things, I still think that the U.S. is ahead of valuing the role of a female in business and sport. Not everywhere, and I can think of many examples of countries. So I think Europe is such a broad brush because there are some countries that really get it, and they're at the forefront of women in leadership and that sort of thing. But the female athlete, I think we're ahead here. And I think there are instances, people would point to Russia when the Russian mafia was behind owning a few female franchises or women franchises, and the way they supported it financially and the way that they treated the players, that it was really special. But I don't know if it runs rampant there. So I would say here. And I would be open to listening if somebody thought the opposite.
Yeah, it's a tough question. I know it's probably not something you've done market research on.
I have not.
I thought you'd at least have some impressions. Let's thank our primary sponsor, Freehouse in Minneapolis, freehousempls.com, 701 North Washington Avenue. It's right there on Washington Avenue in the North Loop. If you haven't been by, should go by. Great patio, great restaurant. Cool bar area, which is where we have been doing our live shows. We appreciate their hospitality. It's been a great place to have big crowds turn out. I've done a lot of live shows in different venues. This is probably the best we've done one at in terms of really everything from logistics to the quality of the food and a good place for Cheryl's fans to show up. So check out freehousempls.com. Let's see. What should we mention that we've had there that we haven't mentioned before? Do you have another favorite you want to throw at people?
Well, I talked about it, and I'm excited for the off season to kind of get back to a routine of, I like to eat out. And so for me to, enjoy breakfast at the Free House, the protein bowl, to kind of sit there and, I drink a ton of iced tea and I'm a big breakfast person. So I like to enjoy that at Free House. So, we talked about the tacos and the caramelized Thai pork, but, I know my family, they enjoy going, to the show and there's even food for Oliver, to enjoy. And, overall, like you said, Jim, I just think it's been a great venue, great experience for everyone that's involved.
Absolutely. And they have everything from oysters to hummus to trout dip to garlic mussels as well. It's a very varied menu, snacks, meals. They make their own beer. They have everything else you would want. Check out the menu at freehousempls.com. So we are talking here on a Wednesday, and the Tuesday night games were fascinating and close, and the Deladon injury is very concerning. Let's start, though, with the Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi duel, which was spectacular.
Yeah, I was impressed with the number of local writers tweeting about the game. So that was really cool to see, that people are still watching, even though the Minnesota Lynx aren't a part of it. How do you not want to watch, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi-led teams? Both, I think Rebecca Lobo had mentioned that Sue Bird in 2 games has 16 assists and 2 turnovers. And,
yep.
And she's, just
and she's the oldest player in the league.
The oldest player in the league. Just, highly reliable, in tough situations, when in the most tense moments, when Diana hit the 3, in the corner, running exactly the same play they had just run before, 2 people on her. They should have fouled Griner when the pass went to Griner. There's no way in the world I'm going to let Taurasi get the ball in her hands. There's just no way. I'm going to tackle Brittany Griner before that happens. But they didn't. I suspect they were maybe anticipating a different play. So it was gutsy to run exactly the same play, and Diana was going to get the shot off, and she ended up running out of gas, I think, a little bit in overtime. She took a couple harder shots that were more long twos. I think she had the right formula when she was shooting threes or when she was getting all the way to the rim, and she settled a little bit in the overtime that I think cost them on a couple possessions, and then Sue just kind of willed her team, to execute. And you've got the MVP and Brianna Stewart, and hustle plays of Natasha Howard. That team. That was a game that Phoenix needed to steal to have a legitimate chance. They can go to Phoenix and win. There's no doubt about that. I like the way Phoenix is playing. They're going to need more from just Diana. Brittany Griner has got to play much better in that setting, in that kind of a game, to get to a place where they can actually win this series. So Diana needs help, but I was messaging actually with a writer, and multiple people. Like, I have enjoyed, and yes, I'm saying this is not a technical difficulties. I enjoyed the heck out of Diana Taurasi this year.
You said that last show too.
She was unbelievable this season, and so I'm enjoying. As hard as it is, I battle between the feelings that I'm having about not being in the playoffs. A number of feelings about that, but then she's bringing me joy in watching, and I'm rooting for her. That's just, like I said, that's just unheard of for me.
But the thing is, she's so entertaining.
She is entertaining,
and she's one of those athletes who, whether you like her or don't, you're going to be entertained by watching her.
Absolutely, the will to win. And then when I say, some of it is just the competitive. Phoenix has been such a, rivalry for us, and I'm not going to root, for most people, from Phoenix, or LA. You kind of have your things, but having been around Diana with USA Basketball, and then just to see, how do you not appreciate the way she's prepared her body and got ready for this difficult season, and is, I think was, I don't know where she finished in MVP voting, but she should have been. If she wasn't in the top three, then we don't know what the heck we're looking at. She's just been unbelievable. The will to win in being around that is so incredibly special. And so, I have an appreciation for it, for her to be doing that. It looked like maybe her career was headed a certain way. It looked like she was done. People said she was done. Stick a fork in it, when she was overseas, and just, but I think if you understand there were more dynamics there, she got recharged and prepared herself, and she showed people she's far from being done.
Yeah, that last three, she was double teamed, moving left, didn't really have a chance to square her shoulders, and hits it falling out of bounds in the opponent.
Right in her best friend's eye.
Yeah,
she said you needed to be closer. Sue didn't want to foul her. That's tough.
Right.
What if, because Sue was tight.
Yeah.
And I watched, on the replay, you have some officials that you go are very capable of screwing it up. The one that was standing there was one of them, and I'm going, but she stood, she stared it down. And Sue was in her space, and I could have seen a whistle. Can you imagine? If Diana makes that and there's a foul call in that play, for as tightly guarded as it was,
goodness.
that would have really been something.
Yes. Let's get to the injury that might define the other series here in a second. We do want to thank Lori Ramsey and, Lori Ramsey and Successful Marketing Group. SuccessfulMarketingGroup.com is where you can find all of her information. Successful Marketing Group is passionately committed to the small and medium-sized business, helping them to get found, get customers, and build dreams. As a business owner or an awesome manager, you strive to help more people while building a successful business, but marketing today is overwhelming and confusing. So Successful Marketing Group can understand your problems. They truly want to help you. They want to help you to reach your goals, build your dreams. They want to provide digital marketing packages with proven results to dominate Google and capture new customers. Again, go to successfulmarketinggroup.com. And just like Shelly has a promo code you can use, you can type in successfulmarketinggroup.com/, Cheryl Reeve and get a free 45-minute audit and action plan. I've been in a couple of those meetings, and they're very detailed